In the top stories, Trade Minister attends joint CARIFORUM EU meeting. Chastanet unhappy with PM's handling of Senate President's arrest, and U.S. mortgage interest rates reach 2006 high. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Thursday, October 13th, 2022. I'm Mervan Thompson. First up, nationally, Minister of International Trade, the Right Honorable Dr. Denzel Douglas, represented St. Kitts and Nevis at the recently concluded joint CARIFORUM European Union EU ministerial meeting in Barbados. The meeting was convened to witness the launch of a new framework for CARIFORUM EU cooperation, which is outlined in the Caribbean Regional Multi-Annual Indicative Program. It also provided political guidance for CARIFORUM EU cooperation and future flagship programs. St. Kitts and Nevis, as a CARIFORUM member state, continues to benefit from a number of funding programs financed by the EU, including the Neighborhood Development and International Cooperation Instrument. The partnership agreement between the European Union and the member states of the Organization of the African, Caribbean and Pacific States post-Cotonou Agreement will replace the Cotonou Agreement as a source of development assistance to CARIFORUM. The Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, of the United Nations, in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture, is continuing with a capacity building and technical training workshop in its innovative protected cultivation systems in the Caribbean project. The innovative protected cultivation systems in the Caribbean project was officially launched in St. Kitts and Nevis in March 2021, and the initial training was conducted in Nevis in June of this year. The workshop, happening this week, is the second leg of the training. The project is designed to help the small island developing states, ZIZ, like St. Kitts and Nevis, face challenges that make them vulnerable to food insecurity by upscaling the protective structures used for cultivation for optimum crop production. FAO International Consultant Mr. Gervais Rowe, who is facilitating the training, stated that the workshop and innovative ways of farming has to be done if we are going to move forward in feeding our nations and maintaining our good health and strength. Miguel Fleming, Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, said, quote, "From the ministry's standpoint, we are going to expand in protected structures because with all the challenges that we have with climate change and feral animals, we can't just sit back and complain that the animals are destroying the food. So in order to combat that, this is a step in the right direction." End quote. The 6-day workshop is being attended by farmers and officers of the Ministries of Agriculture from both islands from Monday to Saturday. And finally, on the local scene, 3 standards which have been adopted by the St. Kitts and Nevis Bureau of Standards, SKNBS, are in the process of becoming technical regulations, which makes them mandatory procedures. The 3 standards include specification for packaged water, labeling of pre-packaged food, and labeling of goods in general requirements. For specification for packaged water, the Bureau will be regulating the safety aspects within the standard. For example, businesses would have to ensure that any water that is produced within St. Kitts and Nevis would have to meet the microbial and technical and chemical requirements, as well as the labeling requirements. This is the case for any bottled water coming into the country. They must conform to the very minimum requirements in St. Kitts and Nevis. In terms of labeling of prepackaged food, the Bureau wants to ensure that when consumers purchase food items, they are given the right information to make informed choices. Food packages must be labeled with the name of the product, where it was produced, the net content, net volume or net weight, contact information, and ingredients, among others. When it comes to labeling of goods general requirements, this comprises everything including food items, toys, and electronic items, among other commodities. Consumers must know the country of origin. If manufacturers infringe on the law, the Bureau will bring it to their attention. Repeat offenses may result in legal action. Manufacturers can seek more information by contacting the Bureau or by visiting the office at Lagreed. In news now on the regional scene, opposition leader of St. Lucia, Alain Chastanet, has taken issue with the Prime Minister's response to the recent arrest of the Senate President, Stanley Felix. Chastanet and the United Workers' Party called for Felix to be relieved of his duties, which he has, but the former Prime Minister continues to take issue with the Prime Minister's handling of the situation.
Leader of the opposition, Alain Chastanet, has hammered down on the charges laid against Senate President Stanley Felix, and even more so what he terms as the lackluster approach by the Prime Minister, Philippe J. Pierre, on the issue. The opposition leader says the Prime Minister should have hastened